Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hans Kennepohl. I would like to welcome you warmly here at Boijmans van Beuningen for the debate about Cradle to Cradle. Joep.
And basically, I wanted to design a huge city for slaves, some kind of a mixture between a concentration camp and an extermination camp. The main goal of the slave city was, except reduction of population, was to make as much money as possible, and with slave labor, and mainly intellectual slave labor, computer programming, marketing, and things like that. This is the urban plan, 60 square kilometers, self-sufficient for energy and food. On the 60 square kilometers, there is a part for 100,000 male slaves, 100,000 female slaves, and a part for management and things like that. With this large amount of money, which I calculated at 8.7 billion, so 9 zeros, with this money, many good things could be done. You have a lot of money, you have a lot of power to change the world for the better. You could even start your own small army. But you can also sponsor scientific research, you can sponsor culture and art. The whole slave city was environmentally friendly, zero carbon dioxide, organic food, and
almost cradle to cradle.
Yeah, almost cradle to cradle. It was a completely self-sufficient green concentration camp.
So there are a lot of slaves who are working in it, and for the slaves that are not usable, you have made a really logical diagram, which we see here. Maybe you can explain us how it works.
Well, it's about 6%, I estimated, that are suitable for this intellectual slave labor. All the rest are not necessary and can be recycled. Basically, the very healthy ones are suitable for organ transplantation and use to help other people.
The healthy and stupid, because the healthy and clever, they work in the...
The healthy and clever, they work. The healthy and stupid, they... it's about 2.7 organs that can be used from a healthy person to save other people. The not so healthy and stupid, food consumption and
cannibalism. So.
Cannibalism, yes.
Yeah.
And the rest basically can be changed into for the biogas digester, and then the pulp which is left over from that can be reused to make thermic recycling.
It seems that you use the term cradle to cradle very ironical. That despite because cradle to cradle promises a new world or a better world, but you sort of like say, no, that's not true. You can have cradle to cradle and despite have a horrible society.
In my work, there's always contradictions. Normally the contradictions are between good and bad, or rational and irrational. The slave city, which is a completely environmentally friendly, organic construction, at the same hand kills people. On the other hand, you can say, well, killing people, is that so bad? Well, maybe it's for the world as a whole, it's maybe a better solution.
Yeah, you seriously are proposing that?
Well, no, I don't think that I'm not that a fascist yet. But,
Welcome, Mr. Braungart. For many years, you've been promoting Cradle to Cradle with your partner, William McDonough. You're one of the world's most knowledgeable ecological chemists. And I think Rotterdam is very honored also to have you currently as a professor at the Erasmus University in your own created chair, Cradle to Cradle.
What I wanted to point out was the linear system, which means that the whole world becomes a graveyard. We think about its environmental protection when we destroy a little less. They make do less waste, reduce your carbon footprint, use your bicycle instead of that, and we call it environmental protection. But this only means that the planet dies a little later. That's why I'm so fascinated to talk to you here, because it's exactly that point. What is our role on this planet? Yeah? What is it about minimizing our footprint? Yeah. So we are not allowed to put our material flows back. Otherwise, it's not organic. There's not one label in no country. Isn't that sad? Isn't that perverse? Yeah. So that it's only nature when we are not there. What you do is so key because it makes people understand the management of human biomass. It's far more cynical that we want to be carbon neutral, because carbon neutral means nobody exists. Yeah.
Georges Bataille was a French philosopher. He wrote on all kinds of things. He wrote erotic books, he started literary journals, he was a librarian and a friend of Picasso and the Surrealists. In the 1930s, he started to think about economic issues, and he wrote a book called La Part Maudite, The Accursed Share. It's a strange word in English. In Dutch, it's vervloekte deel. In which he starts with this idea of the sun as this excess of energy. And Bataille was fascinated by this idea that it's a gift without return. It is something which is given but which doesn't need to come back. We ask ourselves, what are we going to spend our lives on? Waar wil ik mijn leven aan geven? What are we going to give our lives on? There is a sense of survival. We can do that in the first 5 or 10% or 20% of our work. Everything else is useless, and waste and useless expenditure here in Bataille are good things, because that's what makes us human. That's art, that's everything we create. So rather than Homo sapiens, perhaps you could say it's Homo creator. It's we design the world in the way that we want to. We design our lives in the way that we want to. We can turn our own lives into work of art because we have so much control over what we want to do with our lives. We can decide who we want to live it with, what we want to spend it on, etc. And we can turn the world itself, the physical world that we build in, we can turn it into the way we want.
But it needs all your expertise, and you have all expertise in all your fields. Only then it works. If you delegate it to us, in a broader sense, then it will not work. So the question is, what is your expertise? What can you put on the table for that? Yeah?